What's up, YouTubers? And I've had some friends and family ask me, you know, what's in your bug out bag. Figured I'd take this opportunity to show them. This is just a military style pistol belt. And basically my bag consists of a couple different parts. It's this pistol belt with some stuff on, and this camelback bag that I've converted into my bug out bag, which I'll get into here in a minute. This pistol belt, what I have on here is a canteen with canteen cup. It's down in there. I'm not going to take it out right now, but that's for purifying water, obviously. And then also inside the canteen, I have my water purification tablets, as you can see right there. I also have my military grade compass. Make sure, if you do use a system like this, or whatever system you have, and you have a compass, make sure it's actually tied to something that's going to be physically on your person. That way, if it does come out of the pouch, it doesn't fly off and you lose it in the woods. Here I have, this is just basically a MOLLE pouch. You can get them at any pawn shop, hardware store, or military surplus store, whatever. But what I have in here is just one luxury item, really. Just a mosquito net. I have a flashlight. It's a Surefire flashlight. And then I have my fire making kit. It's in an Altoids tin. I got steel wool. I've got a match striker super glued to the top. I've got magnesium with a scraper. And then inside a plastic bag, I've got some cotton balls that are coated in Vaseline. I don't recommend going out and buying one of those, I don't know what they're called, but they're basically the same thing. It's a burning material to stay lit for a very long time. Just go out, buy some cheap cotton balls and Vaseline, get a big tub of it for like $1, coat it, and then it'll light and stay lit forever. Into my camelback. Now, the reason I use a camelback and not like a backpack or something is because, one, I wasn't using this for its intended purpose. The main reason is because I have the bladders and then store the water. They always rip on me. So I took the bladder out. I haven't used this in a very long time, but you can pick one of these up for pretty cheap at a pawn shop or a military surplus store. Make sure you get used though. New, they run like $100. Kind of a rip-off. But on the outside, I've got my knife, which this is actually a backup knife. It's just a cheap Coleman, but it'll work in a pinch. And I just put it in there because it fits pretty nicely right there. I've got pace counter beads, and in here I've got another pouch that's attached to the strap. I've got a whistle and candling device, headlamp. So I've got some leather work gloves, which you'll see redundancy in gloves here in a minute, and I'll explain that. And outside, I've got two pouches that are affixed to the MOLLE webbing of my camelback. In this pouch, I've got some more combustion material. Again, the cotton balls. I got some waterproof matches here in a plastic bag. In this Altoids tin, I've got quite a bit of stuff actually. I've got more matches. I've got some cordage, some gutted 550 cord. And then I've got a basically a small fishing kit. I got some hooks, lures, and some weights in here. This is also the can I'll use for signaling. It's reflective on the inside, and it's not too dirty. And I've also got some snares in here, some homemade snares that I got, basically using some fishing tackle that I found in my tackle box. And I've also got a signaling mirror and a needle and thread for sewing up and making any repairs. I also have, again, any Altoids can, I highly recommend putting the face of the striker for the matches on here, just super glue it on there. I've got some spare batteries, AAA batteries with some plastic bags. I've got, some people think it's kind of weird, but I've got a paper, just a little Write in the Rain notebook here. This is actually multi-purpose, multi-use if you think about it. One, I can use the paper to start, get some flame going with my fire if it's real wet outside. And also, if you're out in the woods and you're alone and you do something that actually makes sense and it works for you, you might want to write it down. That way, if in the heat of the moment you forget how to do something, you're able to just flip through. Okay, I got a quick note on how to, snare a certain animal that you're, been eluding you or something like that. You've got it right here in your book and you're good to go. I've got a handy little knife sharpener here. I've got duct taped together. This is 50 feet of paracord, again portage. Also got down in here a Gerber. This is another cutting tool. It's got a knife in here. It's got all kinds of tools. And that's it for this pouch. There's not a lot in any of these pouches because I'm keeping it lightweight, and I'm also keeping this to where I can have room and modify it as I need. Like I said before, you want to fit your kit to the location and the environment that you're going in. Another pouch right here, this is, some of you will notice it if you're in the military. It's an IFAC pouch, individual first aid kit. This is actually my first aid kit. First thing I got, moleskin, definitely want to have that. I have a quick release tourniquet. I've got band-aids and alcohol swabs and Advil right here for pain relief. Inside this kit, I've got some tape. This is actually a needle for decompressed lung. I've got some gloves and plastic baggies. I've got a just bandage you can get at military surplus store. I've got more moleskin. I've got another tourniquet. It's kind of a cheaper one, not very good. I don't recommend it, but I have it in here just because it doesn't weigh anything. It's not a big deal. And then I've got more gauze right here. Also, I have another sewing needle right here, just in case you have to do some quick patches. In the bottom bag that I have, this is basically the stuff luxury items, if you will. I've just got some utensils here. I've got an Esbit stove with some fuel inside of it. And then at the bottom, I've got a signaling device, just a chem light. One thing about this, if you do have chem lights in your kit, make sure you open them up periodically and make sure that they're still good. And that goes for the first aid stuff as well, because some stuff in your first aid kit will expire. I don't really have much in here. I've got a survival Mylar blanket cover, and then I've got another pair of gloves. And here I've just got a pair of Wiley X gloves, and when I'm out in the brush, I don't like grabbing a lot of things, getting splinters. You want to minimize your risk because, a cut in the woods isn't the same as having a cut when you're at home. It could lead to severe infection, and that's just an added stressor that you don't need. In the main compartment, this is where I have, I'm sitting on my poncho. That's my main cover. I've also got, typically I have this on me. This is actually, I don't want to do a plug or anything, but this is the Bear Grylls survival knife made by Gerber. It's pretty good. It's kind of heavy for my liking. Also, this is a knife I never leave without. This is just my buck folder. This is a Baco folding saw. I would keep this in here, or if I don't have this, I'm going to carry my axe. This is a cloth bandana. The whole thing weighs, I don't know, less than 10 pounds. And one thing, like I said earlier, I made sure to leave room in here, is one thing I put in here is just some food stores. A lot of people will tell you, and I completely agree, in a 72-hour survival scenario, you don't need food. That's not your main priority, which I wholeheartedly agree. I've gone for up to 3 days without food. I mean, it sucks, but it's not a big deal. But if you read a lot of real survival books, they talk about the psychology. It varies anywhere from 80 to 90% psychological in terms of your survival. So what I'll do is I'll throw some Cliff Bars in here, some homemade beef jerky, just some minor little stuff that will give me some calories and keep me going. And that's a psychological boost. Again, I can adapt. I can throw in some wool socks if I'm in a colder environment. Whatever you need, you can throw in here. So that's just my idea. Again, taking some stuff that I had around the house that I wasn't using, made my bug out bag, if you will. If you have any questions, please leave a comment. And plan for the worst, hope for the best.